It's time for today's travel and cruise industry news. With the latest from travel and cruises around the world, here's your host, Chillie Falls.
Hey, good morning and welcome to Travel and Cruise Industry Podcast on a bright and sunny Monday. What is today? July the 14th. Wow, are we halfway through the month almost? Good heavens. All right, so kind of a busy day today for a week news day. I've got some stories, but nothing major. It was just a little short on news today, but we still got a bunch of stuff to go over. So let's get started. As always, welcome to the show, folks. Today's show, of course, is sponsored by Will U.S., the owner of Scoot Around, and by chilliescruises. The lead story this morning, Carnival Vista will be the first to visit Celebration Key later this week. Also today, AIDA cancels Middle East season, Zero Emission Norway, Norwegian Star Power Outage, and a hell of a tow job. A taxi scam in Greece, a weather update, a possible eruption from 148-year dormant volcano. What? And whales return to Rio early. That and lots more here at 11 o'clock this morning on Travel and Cruise Industry Podcast. We do this Monday, Wednesday, and Friday all the time, and then other days when the news demands it. So, or when I'm traveling, that tends to screw the schedule up. All right, so today, folks, is National Mac and Cheese Day. You know, I love cheese, and I love any kind of pasta in any way, shape, or form. I've just never been particularly fond of mac and cheese. Don't ask me why. There's nothing in it that I dislike. It's just something about it. It's just not probably one of my least favorite things that has nothing in it that I dislike. So I don't know. This day in history, in 1881, Lincoln County, New Mexico Sheriff Pat Garrett shoots and kills American outlaw Billy the Kid. And it was interesting that follows up on a day where we talked about duels and the possibility of taking up dueling in Washington, D.C. I don't know. Maybe we need to get Pat Garrett to Washington, D.C. too. All right, if you're a podcast person, you can always access the podcast via my blog, which is accessadventure.net. Man, I'm starting to get a lot of stuff going on the blog. If you're not reading my blog every day, you need to. Not only do I have really great stuff from a number of people, I'm starting to do some stuff on my own. I've been writing. As a matter of fact, that's why I was a little bit late jumping in to start the show today. I'm writing another post. But anyway, so yeah, you need to check it out. And there's, like I say, a lot of stuff from really good folks on there. Okay, so we got several things to share before we get to the news this morning. Let's see if, let me make a quick double check to see if Nate ever called back to answer my questions or messaged me. No, he didn't. I don't know if he's off the ship now. I've got a bunch of pictures from Nate that I think are Gibraltar. It could be Gibraltar. I don't think he's still in Morocco. He goes back to Morocco. I don't. The schedule's gotten screwed up, and I'm not sure where it is. I'm reasonably assured that this is in Gibraltar, I think. Although this could be over in Casablanca still at the market. I'm not sure. And I have no idea. What to join us and tell us what we're looking at. There's an archaeological dig somewhere. And I've sent message through to him to find out. I mean, it was nice that he sent it to me. But he didn't tell me what I'm looking at. So, and if any of you know, jump in, because I sure don't. So we'll have to get Nate to tell us. That's just a few. I think he posted 80 pictures. All right, so this would be, of course, you guys all know Corey, Sandy, his caregiver and mother. They're at Mercedes-Benz Stadium last night for the Beyonce concert. How about that? And the wheelchair accessible area was like right up next to the stage. So they had just wonderful seats. So anyway, that's Corey and his mom, Sandy, who was on the show last week. Okay, so this one, it's not often that I am totally surprised. And I was surprised a bunch by this. This would be, of course, Bethany Bartley from down in Tampa, who is on the Valiant Lady. And of course, she did discover real quickly about the what do you call those damn things? Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. So she likes that a lot. And then, folks, I'm going to make a totally politically incorrect statement. If I upset anybody, too bad. Bethany is dressed, believe it or not, for a pajama party on the first night of the cruise on the Valiant Lady. I'll say one thing, folks, as politically incorrect as it is. Bethany looks pretty damn good in pajamas, y'all. Just saying. And I'll tell her that to her face, too. But anyway, she's on the Valiant Lady right now. So hopefully we'll catch up with her sometime soon. I did not know she was going on another cruise. I mean, she just got back not too long ago. So now that's great. All in favor of it. Okay, this is Nick and our favorite Cindy and Osa, her buddy Osa, one of the four girls. They're out. Who knows what they were doing? Eating, shopping, drinking, or a combination of all three. And Cindy said where they were to, and I didn't write it down, didn't catch it. But anyway, they were out course, Nick and Cindy just got back from a cruise and got together with us. So that's that one. All right. So that takes care of a few little things to add on. All right. So I'll be back with the news, folks, after a quick break from one of our fine network sponsors. Okay, so we're going to start off today with a little bit of talk about Celebration Key later on this week, the grand opening of said Celebration Key. Also, I need to point something out to you folks. I have had some difficulty with StreamYard recently because they redid their setup. And the new setup, I'm just terribly uncomfortable with. Plus, when I put stories in place and commercials in place, I was always able to move them around. So if I didn't like the order, I could move a story from the second spot to the fifth spot or whatever. Or the same thing with commercials. I could shuffle them. I can't do that anymore. So it has to be in the exact order that I loaded them, or I've got to hunt in these little teeny tiny pictures to find the next story that I want, and then try to make sure that I've covered all of them. So I'm not at all pleased about the changes they've made. But anyway, we're going to start off with Celebration Key.
On Saturday, guests embarked on the Carnival Vista for the first ever voyage to visit Celebration Key. While more than 20 Carnival vessels will visit the private destination this year, those sailing on Carnival Vista this week will be the first passengers ever to set foot on the private 64 acres of land in Grand Bahamas. This will happen on Saturday. Carnival Vista will arrive in Grand Bahamas on the morning of July the 19th, calling on the port from 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. local time. There will also be a special grand opening ceremony, which will begin at 10 a.m. Present at this event will be Carnival President Christine Duffy and other special guests who have yet to be announced to the public. Congratulations to Carnival on getting Celebration Key open come Saturday.
Okay, I need to ask a question, folks, because I just realized that my headset is not hearing this. Are you guys hearing the audio? If you're looking at me, somebody tell me if you guys can hear the audio. Yes, thank you, Gretchen. Okay, well, I guess it's just for some reason the headset's not working. Great. Something else goes wrong. Okay. So Celebration Key, I hope to be going to Celebration Key this fall. All right, the next story today is about AIDA.
AIDA Cruises is canceling the 2025-2026 season in the Middle East due to security concerns in the region. It impacts sailing set to take place on the AIDA Prima between October 3rd and March 25th of 2026. How's this for a deal of the day? Enjoy the Mexican Riviera on the Carnival Vista, sailing out of Los Angeles October the 20th. 6 nights with stops in Cabo San Lucas and Ensenada. $44 per person per day. That's right, folks. 6 nights, $44 per person per day on the Carnival Vista out of Los Angeles. give me a call, 434-258-9264. Starting in 2026, Norway will implement zero emissions requirements for ships in the fjords. The regulations aim to reduce air and noise pollution from cruise ships and protect natural environment. The rules will initially apply to smaller passenger ships, with larger vessels facing requirements starting in 2032. Norwegian Cruise Line's Norwegian Star should be on her way to Canada and Iceland right now. But within just a couple hours of embarking on her current 14-night transatlantic crossing on July the 12th, she needed to be helped back to Manhattan Cruise Terminal in New York due to a power outage. The cause of the power outage is currently unknown, but this can happen because of a variety of reasons, mechanical or electrical. Depending on how long the cruise ship will need to remain in port for repairs, the current 14-night itinerary may be impacted. Sandals Caribbean Sail. Save up to $1,000 plus a free Caribbean adventure at a Sandals Resorts. The best way to see the Caribbean is to explore it. No two islands are the same. Each island has its own rhythms, flavors, and reasons to come back. With our limited time Caribbean Sail, you'll unlock a curated adventure that drops you right in the heart of whichever island you choose. That's the Sandals Caribbean Sail. Save up to $1,000. Just give us a call today, 434-258-9264. A cruise passenger was recently charged $82 for what should have been a $17 taxi ride from Greece's Piraeus port, warning other travelers about a common issue and opening a discussion about port taxi drivers. The cruise traveler in this case shared their experience after discovering the massive overcharge on the credit card statement. What started as a simple 30-minute ride in southern Athens turned into an expensive lesson about the safety in using public transportation. The non-English speaking driver began pointing to his phone and card reader, eventually showing the passenger that he was charging an additional 11 euros per bag for 3 suitcases. The cruise travelers stated they didn't have any cash, and the driver proceeded to a card payment machine and acted friendly after that, even shaking hands with the customer. How do you avoid such situations? One traveler said, "Used Uber when I was in Athens. I didn't have to deal with tomfoolery. I just order and pay a set given fee and no problems." An Alaska volcano that has been dormant for more than 148 years is showing signs of rumbling, according to scientists. The Yamna volcano, located near the Cook Inlet in southern Alaska, last erupted in 1867, but would still rumble every few years due to avalanches large enough to register on nearby seismic and infrasound instruments, according to NASA. The region has recently experienced a flurry of shaking, according to the Alaska Volcano Observatory. There's a chance the activity could be signs of a pending avalanche rather than a volcanic eruption, NASA said. Either way, we got to keep an eye on the Yamna volcano. In today's weather update, A trough of low pressure located offshore the Atlantic coast of northern Florida is producing disorganized showers and thunderstorms across portions of Florida, the northwest Bahamas, and adjacent Atlantic waters. The system is forecast to move westward across Florida during the next day or so and into the northeastern Gulf by late Tuesday. Environmental conditions appear favorable enough to support some gradual development of the system while it moves westward to west-northwestward across the northeastern Gulf and north-central portions of the Gulf during the middle to the latter part of the week. Regardless of development, heavy rainfall could produce localized flash flooding over portions of Florida and the north-central Gulf through the middle to the latter portion of the week. Formation chance over the next 48 hours is low at 10%, but over the next 7 days jumps up to 30%. Humpback whales have made an impressive return to the coast of Rio de Janeiro in July, arriving earlier than usual and in much greater numbers. Locals and tourists alike have enjoyed incredible sightings of these massive creatures leaping and showing off their tail fins. Okay, so I'm back now. Is the sound back on? Can anybody hear me? Still no sound. Wow. Yes, sound on. Okay, thank you, Sonny. All right, so sorry about that, and I have no idea what happened that the sound went off. So what I was saying when Hot Air Tom called was I debated on whether to talk a little bit more about the whales. After hundreds of years of the whales going to Rio de Janeiro on a regular schedule and in fairly consistent numbers. All of a sudden this year, the numbers are different. There's a bunch more whales, and they're way earlier than they've ever been before. And the only thing different is climate change. And I know, folks, that's why I was leery about talking about it, because it's a 50-50 proposition. Half of you are a believer in climate change and want to do something about it. The other half of you say hooey to that. It's not, there's no such thing as climate change. Well, I'm just saying, here's a good example. Give me some reason to not believe the climate change thought on this. Why more whales and a month different in their schedule? I haven't been able to come up with one. So just saying. All right. That's going to officially put an end to the news portion of the show. Let's see who's in the chat room fussing at me today. Joanne's here. Amy's here. Hi, Amy. Gretchen says, hi, guys. Bob says, good morning to everyone. Have a great Monday. Thanks, Bob. There's Hot Air Tom. There's Steve out in Kentucky. Hot Air Tom says, lucky you don't like mac and cheese since pasta is on your do not eat list. Yeah. I've lost some weight. Not as much as I'd like, but I've lost some. Sonny says, hey to everybody. Jamin says, hello. There's Todd. Hey, Todd. Cindy's with us. Good morning, Cindy. Roger says, I just booked the 2027 Princess Cruise, Fort Lauderdale to Copenhagen with Sam. That's cool. And now we're into the sound business, and everybody's saying the sound's back on. Thank you, everybody, for responding to that. Climate change is definitely real. I live in Florida and have seen the changes with global warming. Oh, Cindy, I happen to agree with you on that one. I'm not going to preach about it, but I can't come. I tried to come up with some other reason that have affected the whales like this. And clearly, it's something in the water temperature. Has to be. That's the only thing that's different. There's Kenneth up in Pennsylvania. Chillie Cruises missed the whale email. They are redeploying this year. They felt Norwegian can do that. They can do it too. Okay. The whale email. I like it out there, Tom. Redeploying of the whales. That's pretty funny. We just booked a prison cruise. Come on, tongue. Kenneth said we just booked a Princess Cruise in April 27 to Hawaii. It'll be our 10th time over on a cruise. Nice. Very nice, Kenneth. All right, that's going to wrap me up for today. Voice is a little raspy today, and it's not from being sick. It's from this treatment stuff that I'm doing with my breathing and a change of meds. So I've gone along pretty comfortably for almost 2 weeks. And now all of a sudden I'm coughing again. And I'm gravelly. So we'll see. I don't go back to see him again until next month. And then I've got one test day with the big breathing test, whatever the hell that is. And then I go back to get the results of all the tests. So we'll see how that works out. All right, that's going to end and wrap it up for today, folks. I'll be here tomorrow if anything happens and stay on top of things. If not, I'll see everybody back here on Wednesday. As always, stay safe, stay healthy. Think about cruising. Hopefully one day soon, we'll all get together on the high seas. Have a great day, everybody, and smash that thumbs up button. All right, y'all. See everybody on Wednesday if I don't see you before.
I regularly post videos on all facets of the travel and cruise industry. So if you like to keep up with the latest in cruise ships, ports of call, cruises themselves, chilly chats, and travel and cruise industry news, just hit the little subscribe button in the lower right-hand corner, hit the bell notification so you'll be notified when a new video is up or we go live. This video was produced by Chillie's Cruises.